mom and dad. Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad.
Well, welcome home, family.
Yes.
It's your mom and dad, and we're still married.
We're still married by the skin of our teeth.
13 years later.
13 years.
Happy anniversary to you.
Ooh.
Happy anniversary. Yeah, it's true, family.
I mean, not an original song. You just took happy birthday and did happy. It's not like happy anniversary.
You don't have to show off your songwriting skills.
Happy anniversary, my baby. Married to me. See, you know, something original. Good morning.
It's a gorgeous melody. Thank you for that gift.
You're welcome.
It's true, family. We have been officially married for 13 years.
13
As I said
years.
on our Instagram story.
13 short
together
years.
for 100, but technically married for
Vampires.
13. Vampires.
Ooh, you know, I'm kind of in a mood today.
Uh-oh.
I could go many directions, but like, you know, anyway, I'm gonna derail you. You know, when you're in a deal, you're never like this. I'm in a very derail the pod mood. So hold me back. But I
never
was thinking
would
about
ever do that.
Not
after 13 years.
Just quickly, just as a quick thought, maybe we could talk about this later. Maybe we can never talk about it again. But I remember we were talking. What was that movie, Forever After, or something? The kid movie where.
Tuck Everlasting.
Tuck Everlasting, where it's like he's gonna live forever, and if she drinks from the pond, they're gonna live together. But do you want
Spoiler.
Yeah, sorry guys, 1998 spoiler. But would you want to be with the same person forever? Is a good question. Because
That
it's like
actually is a good question.
You know what I mean?
If
It's like
you're,
you can love
if you're
someone
considering
so much, but like 900 years. You know what I mean? Like Bible time length with people.
You talked about this for some reason a couple of weeks
Did
ago,
I?
but not about Tuck Everlasting.
Yeah, but I'm really into biblical lengths of people living a long time. But like, you know, the Tuck Everlasting was like, they're so in love. But it's like 800 years. But at some point you just be like, yo, I think I want to see what else is out there. I don't know. I could never want that. I would not want that. I'm just saying it's a good question to kind of pose to the audience.
I actually think that is a very good question to like truly think about before you maybe dive in.
Before you drink from an everlasting well?
Before you drink from the everlasting well, or perhaps get married or something, you're like, what if I lived? What if something happens technologically and I can live for 1,000 years?
Yeah.
Do I want to be with this person for 1,000 years?
There's like an Ed Sheeran song that's like, baby, I loving you, we're 17. And it's like 70 years old. You're just like, get out of here. Like that song's a little flawed. Kind of brings me back to this point where it's like, you know, at 700, are you kind of looking and going, hey, if we're going to have another 10,000 years, like maybe we kind of mix it up and then I'll call you in a thou. Anyway, great to be here. Got my coffee going. I'm feeling great.
Evan's back from Nashville. Yay, he's back. We're in the studio again together.
Yes.
Evan got back just in time to make it to our daughter's theater weekend of performances.
Mm-hmm. Amazing.
Which, thank goodness, because...
I would have had to move out.
Yeah, she would have been so mad.
She literally looked at me before I left and was just like, if you don't come back, like... basically,
if you don't come back in time for my performances,
you're no longer my father. So I was like, got it.
But literally when I was on Instagram, I'm like, you know what? We should have an episode where we're like catching up about what's been going on in our lives. Mm-hmm. And we happen to have this 13th year wedding anniversary upon us. And I'm like, let's talk about that. The family sent in a bunch of questions. Let's talk about some call homes. We miss hearing from the family. But I was thinking when I'm discussing catching the family up on what we've been doing as we've been reality TV recapping, I'm like, it's pretty much just Ember's Theater. That's pretty much what our existence is right now.
Life, passions, nothing is ours anymore.
Ember's theatrical pursuits. And
that's all it is.
Honestly, I couldn't be happier. She is so thrilled and so happy. And man, this weekend, everybody. Mm-hmm. She did James and the Giant Peach and she played the centipede. And when I tell you, she crushed. She
was hamming it up so wildly. She was incredible. exactly. She had her own choices. Like what 9-year-old makes their own choices?
It was magnificent.
Incredible.
It
so
was
fun.
magnificent. But I needed to tell you quick.
Mm-hmm.
I know we're talking Embers Theater and how that's what we do now for permanent.
Our life.
Yes.
Is hers.
It's so good.
It is
Theater
so good.
24/7. Evan came home from Nashville and he's like, it's been weird to not listen to theater music for a week.
Yeah. Because the
musical theater
second I
music
got into the car, it was just right on. And then you get in the house and the ladies are singing it and it's just it's a bath. You know what I mean?
It's a bath of musical
Sometimes
theater.
kind of a cold bath, love them, but every once in a while you're kind of like, I don't know if I'm in the mood for this, but it is just the way we live, and it's a beautiful thing. And if you're lucky enough to have a kid that has a passion, it's really cool to see because, man, they have all the energy in the world and all the gusto and fearlessness, and it's awesome to see.
It's really beautiful. It's been healing
100%
to watch her pursue something she loves so much. But I had to tell you this, cutest thing ever involving our kiddo is yesterday I was sitting next to her and she was on the computer looking up cartoon, like directions, how to do cartoon drawings. Yeah. And so I'm sitting next to her because, we don't do the free scrolling on the internet. That's kind of our rule in the house. And all of a sudden I look over, she's not looking up cartoon directions anymore. She's Googling something and I'm like, Miss Ember, what are you Googling over there? And I look at what she's Googling and it's best gifts to give to your dad.
Shut up. To me?
Yeah. Isn't that the cutest thing of all time? She just was like, I just love daddy and I just want to get him something.
Oh my gosh.
Just a random Google, best gifts to give to your dad.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Heart melter.
My daughter's better than yours. Wow. Incredible.
Isn't that the sweetest thing ever?
So did she follow through though? Am I getting anything? Or is it just kind of like, the thought that counts kind of thing?
We decided we decided that she got some ideas that she's going to create on her own.
Amazing.
I'm like, we don't have to buy it.
Yeah, right. I love that. I would love
and
that.
so she was inspired by a few things.
I love that.
So
that is the
there's a few things in the works.
Sweetest thing ever.
Isn't that so cute?
Which made my day.
I know.
Sorry guys, welcome to the Sap Fest.
I know, just kind
gross.
Of just a mush central. Well, listen, it's anniversary times.
True.
It's sappy. And like I said, you all sent in some questions for us. I scrolled through a few of them. There's some good ones.
Yeah.
So we're about to get into some fights on our 13th year anniversary. We're going to dig into some personal stuff between the two of us. But I love, just kind of rehashing some stuff, talking with the fam about, I don't know, what it's looked like over these past 13 years.
And it's so interesting
20 years.
20 years. It's so interesting to kind of look back and time speeds up for sure. Mm-hmm. So for all of you that are like 1 year into your relationship, I do feel like every year is like 2% faster, 3% faster.
Maybe even more than that.
And then it just keeps going. And then like it starts getting exponential. Because when I look back on like, we've been together for 13 years. But if I was to be honest, like the last 4 feel like one.
Flew by.
You know what I mean?
Flew by.
And I think once you have kids too, or if that's like something you want to do, like that speeds things up too crazy. So it's really interesting to kind of look back on the last like at least like 5 years and be like, I know, everything we've been through and the thoughts, and I don't know, I have a lot of them. But
so let's hash it out.
Yes.
Also a reminder, family, like we had told you, we're going to be covering Love is Blind. And yes, we are still covering Love is Blind, but we thought it would be good to just we've been covering a lot of reality TV. We're like, let's have one episode where we kind of we
haven't done a check-in in a while.
Check in, chat with the fam, questions.
Anniversary pod.
Yeah, just that whole deal. But tune in on Friday, because on Friday, yes, though we are behind, we are going to have fresh eyes on the latest season of Love is Blind. We have no spoilers. So your father and I will be covering Love is Blind episodes 1 through 6, I believe, on Friday, which is the whole time in the pods. So all the pods we're going to cover on the Friday episode, we're going to go from there. And also, please feel free to be sending in, like I said, we're covering Love is Blind, but that's only going to be a couple episodes worth. So please feel free to send in different shows that you're interested in, different topics, different, things you might want us to cover.
100%.
Sound good?
Love it.
Sounds good. Okay, before we get into questions from the fam to us, we got to take a quick pause. So, family, speaking of Ember's Theater, I vividly remember the first time I did a proper musical theater performance was actually the first time I ever got a whiff of myself and went, oh, BO. This is a vivid
Foundational
memory.
moments in your life.
This is a vivid memory for me. I was like, I need some deodorant. Oh, the memories. I wish I would have had Lumi deodorant back then, though, but I have it now, and it's all I use. Lumi is whole body deodorant that is safe to use anywhere on your body. I'm talking pits, underboobs, thigh folds, belly buttons, butt cracks, vulvas, and feet. I use it everywhere. The feet a lot lately, especially. I love all their products, but I'm obsessed with their cream tube deodorant. It lasts for so long. Also, their spray deodorant, it's aluminum free. I keep it in my purse and it's so convenient. And right now you can get 15% off with promo code MOMDAD at lumideodorant.com.
Yes, Lumi is the best. It's the #1 whole body deodorant formula. Lumi was created by an OBGYN who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. It's clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. And we can confirm this firsthand. And all their products are baking soda free, paraben free, and pH balanced for safe use below the waist.
Lumi has product options like their solid deodorant stick, formulated and powered by mandelic acid to stop odor before it starts, sweat control deodorant, spray deodorant, cream tube deo like I mentioned, and you can choose from a variety of fresh, bright scents like clean tangerine, lavender sage, or toasted coconut. Also, very exciting, Lumi just came out with a brand new scent called Vanilla Bliss. I am obsessed with this. Okay, it's a perfect mix of vanilla bean and sandalwood. It's like sweet, but not too sweet. I think it's my new favorite. It is fantastic. Lumi's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipes. I love their deodorant wipes. And free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code. And if you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off their starter pack. Amazing. Use code MOMDAD for 15% off your first purchase at lumideodorant.com. That's code MOMDAD at LUMEDEODORANT.com. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Lumi. Okay, let's get into some questions for us about our love affair. But first, someone sent in the question box a suggestion, which I loved, that said, would love an episode of Evan reacting to wild passages from romantasy books. And I have to tell you all, family, I started a bit, I started a personal bit with myself maybe about a month ago. I've slacked a little bit, but I was doing it every day for a while, where once a day I look up or pull up from one of my books a extremely provocative, steamy passage and text it to Evan in the middle of the day when he's at work. And it makes me giggle, not him so much. Because at first you're like, what is this? And then you told me that I needed to be careful what I sent because you were currently in studio with different artists and you'd have your computer attached to the big screen and all of a sudden these like wild sexual escapades would pop up.
Yeah. It was like, babe, there's literally people behind my computer looking at my computer being like talking about something. And it just pops up like, as I devour you from behind and ravage your soul and eat your sex. And it's just like, babe, what is happening? And she always sends me to the ones from like, she always sends me to the ones like from the perspective of the demon to like the like female main character. So it's always just like, my mane stands on its edge as I see you gracefully walking across the courtyard in your blouse. I see your breast. And I'm like, babe, I don't really know what to do with this. It's like, and then she sends it like with no context.
I never sent it.
And I'm like, should I go, thank you? You know what I mean? Like I'm not in, when someone sends you something like that too, when you're not.
The first one I sent without context before he realized this was a bit.
Yeah.
You literally just responded, what?
Yeah. Cause again, it wasn't like us. It was just like super intense and like had nothing to do contextually with like our relationship, how we interact. It was just insane. And like she doesn't, and then it's kind of like, when you're in a work zone and you're like around people and then someone sends you that, it's a little bit like, for the first time, you're kind of like, I don't want to like blow up her vision of how this is supposed to go. If she's thinking this, she's really setting up something sexy here. And I'm just kind of like, but I also want to be realistic about it. It's like really the first couple times were a little bit jarring and I didn't know how to be. And then I realized you were messing with me and I'm like, okay, that helps a lot.
It was my bit. It was my own personal bit.
Yeah.
That it was just a fun, you know what? You should all try doing this. You know, if you have a partner, just try doing this. It just was a nice moment in my day where I'd be like scrolling online on like Goodreads to try to find like, oh, what was that one book and look up a good quote from that and then just send it off, just part of my bit.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think it's a good idea, but I have, Jess will sometimes like, let's say she's cleaning, she'll turn the book on audio. So I've heard a decent amount. So I think my shock vibes has been numbed a little bit. Because it's like you're walking past the room and you're just hearing like the most it's basically
it's like when you woke up to it the other day.
When I woke up to it the other day. So definitely, I'm a little desensitized, from it, but it's a wild world we're living in over here in this house.
I think it's a fantastic bit.
Oh, yes. Yeah, the bit is insane. So she'll still do it, but she'll send text like incoming.
Yes.
And like wait 30 seconds just so I know to like close my text message on my screen.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It's called growing and learning and being sensitive to your process while you're at work. So I just don't send them without thought, thoughtful. Okay. Let's dive into these questions head on. First, someone from the family says, I'm going into my 8th year of marriage, so experiencing the 7-year itch. How did you handle this? The 7-year itch. Okay, I'm going to just look up the like hard definition for this before we dive into it.
Because in my mind, the itch could mean so many different things. The itch could be I'm bored of this person. The itch could be I hate this person. The itch could be, I don't know, like it could mean a lot of itch.
So they say that the 7-year itch is a popular phrase popularized by the 1955 film, The 7-Year Itch. Didn't know this. Referring to a perceived decline in happiness or satisfaction in a marriage or long-term relationship. It often is around the 7-year mark. Okay, so first and foremost, did we experience the 7-year itch?
It's hard to know because we've been together.
Yes, we did. No,
okay, chill. More what I'm referring to is we've been together for 20, married for 13. So it's like, was our 7-year itch at 3 years or 5? You know what I mean? Or like 1, because it's like we've been together for so long. So it's like, where were the itches? But let's just say for context of like, yes.
We've definitely have. Yeah. And it's interesting. If we've been together for 20 years, we've had to, I'm like, does the 7-year itch, does it happen every 7 years? Is it a one-time thing?
Right,
I would imagine it happens every 7 years. Like it's a regular occurrence. And again, 7 years around that time. Yeah. Because I feel like we had a rough road, like 2 years into our marriage or like a year into our marriage. And then,
but that wasn't an itch. That was like a tough time.
That was a tough time.
The itch is specific. I like this question because the itch kind of refers to kind of like, hey, there you are again.
Well, hello.
But you know what I mean? It kind of refers to I'm kind of sick of you.
Yeah, the decline in happiness.
Yeah, kind of just a general like, how long should we be doing this? Kind of a thing, which I think is really important because it's almost just saying like you're getting tired of the situation you're in.
Yeah, you're not necessarily
not inspired.
You're not necessarily wanting to be with the person for 900 years. I would say we probably had our like big itch, maybe 5.
Yeah, 4 or 5 years ago.
4 or 5 years ago. And it was interesting because
would be right around, okay.
We were actually having a conversation about this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So for us, I'll speak for myself.
Yeah.
The itch definitely looked like it was interesting because it wasn't this feeling of, I don't love this person anymore, or I don't want to be with this person anymore. And in our past, we've obviously still to this day, but you go through phases where you're way more on each other's nerves, you're arguing a lot more. I think for this specific itch for us, we weren't even, it wasn't arguing. It was almost the absence of.
It was death more than like, it was just kind of, it was like we weren't talking, we weren't connecting.
Yes, it was the absence of the passion. Mm-hmm. It was the absence of the communication, which, again, sometimes is the arguing.
Sure.
And it was almost just like we became full-blown roommates.
Yes.
We were just task.
Yep. And I think there's a lot of things that go into that. I think kids can do it too, right? Because our daughter's 9, so she was 2. And you're kind of like in school, in daycare mode, and you're just kind of you've been in survival mode for the first, year and a half with your kiddo, and you're kind of like, I don't know how to do this. And you're super focused on not each other.
Yeah. And ours lasted, it lasted for a while.
Yeah, I guess that's a good question. How long does the 7-year itch normally last? Is this a 6-month thing? Is this like a 2-year thing? I don't know. But
ours was ebbing in and out, I feel like, for, I don't know, maybe like a year and a half.
Yeah, for sure.
Something for like sure. That.
What do you feel was your complaint?
I think my complaint was, again, the lack of feeling in the roommate energy.
But what do you think caused that?
Well, I think numerous things caused that. I think life caused that. Obviously, it was around pandemic. So then there was, you're stuck in the same space with each other, and there's fear and there's all this. And so life stuff was happening. But I think when I look back on it, it's twofold. One, I think it's just part of the human existence. When you're with someone for a long time, like, it's bound to happen. So I think that that's something that needs to be talked about more, is that obviously each individual and couple is different, but when you have the 7-year itch, it's not like here's your flag to necessarily say this isn't working anymore. And I do think a lot of people get that feeling and then go, I'm not happy anymore, so I'm going to remove myself. I think it's very different if you're like, you hit that 7-year itch and you're like, this partner is toxic for me, this is unhealthy for me. But if it's kind of this thing in this decline of happiness, there's this itchy, impatient energy to be like, I want a quick fix to make me feel happier. And I just think that that's a natural thing. Now, the question is, do you walk your way through it? And how are you going to walk your way through it? So I think there's that. And I also think I got another question that I think kind of could be tied to this. And the question was, how do you deal when you have those I hate my husband moments? Mm-hmm. And then the person put in parentheses perimenopause. Obviously, shouts out to like the hormonal end with like the menopause and perimenopause. I'm not a doctor, so I'm sure there are definitely like scientifically things hormonally that could be beneficial and help with the process. But like the whole I hate my husband thing, which we all experience at some point. Again, and I'm not talking about when we're in a relationship that's like toxic, where I'd be talking to a friend like, this isn't healthy, this isn't good, whatever. But just two people who, seemingly have like a good or decent relationship or even a great relationship, you're going to have those times where you're like, I can't stand this person. They drive me crazy. And so tying that in with the 7-year itch, something that I think I really realized over that period and then coming out of it was, first and foremost, I had to start looking at myself, because who are the people who we feel most comfortable typically to take out our frustrations on? And it's going to be the people who we feel the safest with or we feel the closest to. And so for me, that's you as my husband. So I'm like, okay, I'm feeling these irritations, and I can't exactly name why I'm feeling that way. I can't name what you're doing wrong, right? There can be little things here and there, but I can't quite name it. So I'm like, okay, where is this unhappiness coming from that I'm feeling? And I had to kind of start taking a mirror to myself and being like, do I hate my husband right now, or do I feel dissatisfied with life in general?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was a big turning point for me, that at least in our journey together, when we started to come out of this 7-year itch, it was when I started to really realize, like, okay, maybe the 7-year itch isn't just spouse related. It's kind of just life related, like life in general. We have those every few years. All of a sudden, you have that, like you're not satisfied with where your life's at. And I had to look at mine and go, like, okay, what am I doing in my life that's leading to me not being happy?
Interesting.
And once I started honestly focusing a little more on doing things that were going to bring me joy, so hanging out with friends and sparking hobbies again, and taking some time for myself and kind of focusing on those, I started noticing that you and I were doing better.
Yeah.
And it was kind of re-blooming again. So, I can't speak for everyone, but I do think it's interesting to maybe look at the perspective sometimes of the 7-year itch, or like I can't stand my husband or my partner, they're driving me crazy. It's like, this can all be true, but also maybe I'm not happy in general.
Yeah.
And not like it's my fault, but I'm just not happy because that happens in life.
Sure.
And what can I do personally, just myself, not pushing on my partner, but personally, to reignite happiness, and then maybe encourage my partner to reignite their happiness as well, because maybe the 7-year itch is when two people aren't happy with their own lives and they just are also living together.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah,
so then you start to quarrel. I don't know.
I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that, people can itch for different reasons.
Of course.
For sure. Rashes. Maybe yours is just a rash and you need to get some cream for it. Sorry, guys. I'm here all week with the dad jokes. Yo. Okay. I think also, to be honest with you, because I think about myself and I'm going like, okay, what was my experience? Personally, I feel itch when we take each other for granted. Because I've been unhappy with my life and super happy with you. So personally, for me, those can definitely intertwine, but I normally find that like an itch where it's like a long lasting period of like dissatisfaction in the relationship usually comes from like us feeling like we're both taking advantage of each other or taking each other for granted.
Yeah.
And no one wants to put the work in because they feel like it's not going to be reciprocated. So it's like we're both taking each other for granted. We're both kind of roommates, we're both kind of bland with the energy for each other. And then there's this like, well, if I'm going to muster the energy to kind of like get myself back into a place of like appreciating you and kind of like treating you better, I'm afraid it's not going to be reciprocated, and then it's going to send me even further. So I'm just going to kind of sit in this stagnant pond because it's safer. And so I think that's where that's where I was itching, was like, we were both just kind of, but like, you're also like, well, you're not going to leave. No one's going to leave. Everyone's just kind of fine. I don't want to disrupt it. We're going to get into we're going to start fighting if we start bringing this, it's just kind of becomes this stagnant pond energy where you're just kind of laying there and you're like, I don't want to disrupt it because it might take more energy. I don't know. And I think it's really important to kind of go back to like early days in the relationship when your relationship was like on fire. It was like you put a lot of energy into the relationship, right? It's like you put a lot of effort and energy. And I think 7 years is kind of right around that time when you kind of start thinking to yourself like, well, I mean, we're in this thing together.
Yeah.
Where are they going to go?
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere. It's a lot of energy to, remember back in the day, it was always this and dates and gifts, and we were always running around and I was always trying to impress her. And, that's a lot of energy. Even if you're not saying this, you're just kind of like cerebrally feeling this. And so I think it's really just a lack of energy and a lack of fear. Because in the early days, there is a little fear of like, I don't want to lose this person. They mean a lot to me.
Of course.
Someone could steal them away from me. I'm going to do it. There's an energy. You kind of, it's fine. I'm behind my castle walls. We're safe. You know what I mean? So I think that's the feeling. Yeah. And I think it's important to kind of like, it's okay to feel that way. And there's going to be moments of that. But I do think there's a level of like, remember that, stay alert, stay where, people can float away at any point in time in your relationship. So always remember, like, hey, we're in this thing together. Nothing's guaranteed. You see people get divorced at like 60. They've been together for 40 years. You know what I mean? So it's like, get a little bit of that scarcity, but a little bit of that, like, it's good to be safe, but it's also good to be like, hey, I care for you and I want to make sure that I care for you. And if you both have that, I think it can kind of snap you back into it.
I like this concept. I want to talk a little more about this, taking each other for granted, and then maybe how we got out of the itch.
Yeah.
But we got to take another quick pause first. Family, so like we're chatting about having been married for 13 years now, and for over 9 of those years, we've been parents, which we love, but it offers lots of challenges, one of which is making sure your kiddo is learning, and specifically learning in a way that works for them. Ember's school is great, but she needs some extra help. And to be honest, we were a little at a loss of how to best do that. And then we discovered OutSchool, and it has been a gift to say the least. OutSchool is an online learning platform that empowers kids ages 8 through 18 to learn on their own terms with the widest variety of teachers, topics, and classes to suit any interest. They offer interactive small group classes that are fun and social, video classes that can be taken anytime, one-on-one tutoring, and clubs that connect learners around their favorite topics. Since 2015, they've partnered with vetted, diverse expert teachers to give kids everywhere greater access to high-quality education. And family, it has been a game changer for our child, okay? She's been taking math classes, reading fluency classes, reading comprehension classes, one-on-one tutoring, and more. And not only has it helped her so much, the classes are also so fun that she's now taking extra ones because she wants to be taking them because she's just enjoying them so much, which is just so incredible to see as a parent, to see your kid being excited and learning and having fun doing it. It's amazing.
Yeah, OutSchool is amazing for families that are looking to supplement what is being taught in your child's classroom, or if they need more help or aren't being challenged enough, as homeschooling resources, as a fun activity to provide enrichment, and much, much more. I was so wowed by the amount of class options. We are talking thousands of topics that can captivate each learner's interests. You have to check it out. Everything from readers theater to coding with a Minecraft theme. It's truly incredible. More than 1 million learners have taken classes on OutSchool, and more than 2,500 OutSchool educators have advanced degrees in their field. In fact, their educators have collected more than 1 million 5-star reviews since 2015, and you can see why when you join.
Also, I have to mention, with the end of the school year quickly approaching, OutSchool offers a ton of great summer camps, which is huge. It's huge for providing structure during summer months while making learning fun and engaging and preventing that summer learning slump. It offers socialization with like-minded peers, plus flexibility to work around summer travel and activities, which is amazing. And these are fun and educational summer camps opening now for enrollment, and OutSchool offers both week-long or 6-week-long camps, okay? I'm talking camps like Crime Forensics and Master Detective Summer Camp, Can You Solve the Crime Summer Art Camp with drawing and painting fun, fun preteen and teen Spanish camp for beginners week 1, and so much more. Ember is picking which camp she wants to join, and she is so excited, and we are excited for her. If you want to try OutSchool, you can now get up to $20 off your child's first class, camp, or tutoring session for a limited time. This exclusive discount is only available when you go to outschool.com/momdad and use code MOMDAD at checkout. That's outschool.com, outschool.com/momdad, and use code MOMDAD for $20 off your child's first class or tutoring session on OutSchool. OutSchool, take charge of their future. Okay, so back to the topic of taking each other for granted with the 7-year itch. So something that I noticed, and kind of having, when we were started to come out of it, like I said, I started to focus kind of on being like, hey, I'm needing to do things to make myself happy. One of those things was making sure that I was prioritizing friendship too, right? And spending time out and about with like my girlfriends. And when I was out and about with my girlfriends, what I started to notice, because sometimes most of my girlfriends are single, so we'd be out at the bars and whatever. And what I started to notice was, I was like, man, you always think the grass is greener. Because then I'd go out and I was like, wow, I have a very wonderful husband.
Oh,
You know what I mean? But sometimes when you're just sitting cooped up together 24/7 and not spreading your wings and going out and hanging out with other people all the time too, sometimes like you're saying, you take the other person for granted.
Yes.
And when I'd be out and engaging with other people, I was like, dang, I don't appreciate my husband and our relationship enough. And so I do think that that is something to consider, is when you are spending time outside of just your little bubble with each other, it helps remind you of the person that you love,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And I think that was a huge part of what got us through the 7-year itch. Is you got really busy with work stuff. You started to have more hobbies and being with friends, and I was with friends, and we focused a little more on ourselves towards the end of it individually.
Yeah.
And I do feel like it brought us together, because also then too, when you get together, you have more to talk about.
Yes.
It's not just the same old, same old. You're like, oh, I did this yesterday and I went out here last night, and you have fun stories and you kind of re-engage like how you did at the beginning of your relationship.
Yes.
So I think it is important to make sure that you have a solid foundation on your own and you don't lose that in a relationship or a marriage.
I think so too. And just to button up with my opinion on like the marriage side of things.
Yeah.
You're going more personal, which I think is important. And then I'm going more like relationship. Someone said this to me when I was like 20 years old, and it always stuck with me. I don't know why, but this guy was talking to me about when you're in a relationship and you're just really not feeling it. And he said, what I'll try to do is I'll try to get my wife flowers when I really don't want to. And it always stuck with me, because it was like, it's almost like you're
Now every time he gives me flowers, I feel like
Yeah.
he really
You're
does
right.
not want me to.
Yeah. No, it was like, you know, when people say smile, when you're like force yourself to smile when you're feeling the opposite of smiling. And sometimes you can kind of like lift yourself out of the mood just by like physically doing something that emotionally you don't want to do.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know, when you're in that zone and you're not vibing and you're not feeling romantic or you're not feeling connected or you're not feeling any passion or whatever, forcing yourself to do something that is the opposite of how you feel can kind of like jolt your system. And I just always felt like that was such a good, use that as like a template for, you know, whatever you're into. It's like, maybe you're really not in the mood to talk, but you guys haven't talked in a while and you're not this, it's like force yourself to walk into the bedroom and go, hey, did you see this movie or did you see that article the other day? And then just like force a convo just to kind of, and you might kind of like jolt your system into like, oh yeah, we haven't been talking. And for the first 10 seconds, 30 seconds or a minute, you might not be feeling it, but then it's like, you might fall into something. And so I think that's a good exercise, just to be super practical. And it's like, don't wait for inspiration. Because like you might be stuck in a place where you might not be inspired for a year.
Yeah.
And you don't want to let a year go by without checking in on each other. So
Of course. Yeah. So I think, you know, needless to say, there's no easy answer to the 7-year itch. But something important to know is like, you're not alone. Everybody feels it at some point, you know, numerous times throughout the relationship. And what you got to look to is, hey, do I really not want to be with this person? Well, no, maybe I do want to, at least for us, it's like, no, I do want to be with this person. So we're just going to have to figure it out. And you kind of just know that it's not a quick fix. It's going to be an up and down. But like, if you put the effort into making sure that you're tuning into yourself, and if you're happy and checking in on you, and then also, you know, not leaving your partner behind and checking in on them, I think that
it's an energy thing too.
Yeah.
It's an energy. Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Do you guys ever think of breaking up? Sorry if that's too much. Never too much. Never too much. Well, we did break up once.
That's true.
So there was that. You know, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
For sure. 100%. We have...
Well, I mean, like more like 60% for me. But, okay. 100. Kind of a lot. Can't get more than that. Can't get more than 100%. No, but yeah.
But yes, I mean, you know, when you've been together for a long time, and
I think
even
you more than me.
Well, yes, and let me tell the family why. I'm a runner, family. I'm a big runner. I'm an avoider. That's my tendency. And so when we are in a time where we're not agreeing and we're maybe arguing more, Evan, and I'm so grateful for you, you're the type who's like, I'm going to plant my feet down and we're going to work through this. And I am a runner. Yeah,
but you know what? I will say I can be a settler.
Yeah.
Like I could see myself being stuck in a relationship that I'm not that into for way too long.
Mm-hmm.
So in some ways we help each other.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, we help each other in that way because it's like I kind of like solidify her and kind of remind her like, no, we're in this thing for the long haul. We got each other, and then you kind of wake my ass up sometimes with like, hey, to my own point earlier about it's like, this ain't locked forever.
Yeah,
so like,
keep him on his toes.
Wake up.
I don't know if that's healthy.
No,
like,
but there's a level of like,
toes.
there's a wake up level of like, hey, I'm not happy. We're not happy. Let's. I don't want to live like this forever. And I'm willing to not live like this forever.
Yeah.
If that means leaving at some point, whatever. So I think sometimes you need that wake up call. So I think we both need to work on that side of the other side of each other, but then also kind of can be grateful for those tendencies to be like, oh, it's nice to, it's good to kind of remind each other of the opposite side every once in a while to balance each other out,
true. Yeah. And I mean, again,
like, why is she getting to a point where she wants to run?
Yeah.
That's a good question for me. Mm-hmm. Is it just a her thing? Is it an us thing? Maybe a mix? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think that could be good for me.
But yes, to answer your question, 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
And I imagine most everyone feels that way. And if people say that they don't, I feel like
you lying.
Or at some point it will come up.
Yeah.
And you can so deeply, it can be like, I would say that I think you and I have a very good relationship.
Yeah.
And even with a very good relationship, and
it can look different too.
You can still love each other deeply and be like, I don't know if this is going to work. Just because of, again, what you're personally going through, what you and your partner are going through together, what the environment is feeling like,
right.
Hormones like we talked about before. I mean, there's so much that can attribute to it.
True. And some people also don't want to break up because they don't want to deal with what that would mean versus I like the person, I want to stay with them. Some people are like, I want to leave. And then some people are like, that's too much work. And who am I going to find out that, like that's not the reason you want to be with someone just because it's too much work or how am I going to find someone else? Mm-hmm. So different feelings of kind of breaking up without wanting to run,
Absolutely. Someone said if you two went to Temptation Island, how would it look like and who would break first?
I'd have foursomes, night one, it'd be insane. No.
How would it
that's
look
a really
like
good question.
And who would break first? I'm going to say this very confidently. Well, first of all, if we were to go on Temptation Island, it'd be either one of two things. One,
things are in not a good place.
One, we're either really not in a good place, or two, we're like, let's get some TV exposure and we'll stick together and do this whole thing that's planned out. But likely,
or we're like a shake hand and we're like, whatever happens, happens, and we come back, we don't talk about it, and back to life.
Likely, if we're going on Temptation Island, we are not in a good place. And who would break first? I can say almost with 100% confidence, it would be me. And let me tell you all why, okay? And I'm not proud of admitting this about myself, but it's just true. I unfortunately am wired in a way where I'm like, well, I think there are some benefit or good things about this in life. But in this circumstance, in a romance circumstance, I am wired in a way that I'm like, the way I'm going to protect myself is I'm going to hurt this person before they hurt me. So there's a level of like, because I can really struggle because of not anything in the past with Evan, but my family past and everything with trust, that in a scenario like that, I'd be like, he's going to break, but I'm going to break first so that I can have an upper hand and I'm in control and I don't get hurt. So I would definitely break first and I would not be enjoying it. And it would be like, I'm doing this to protect myself. And you, on the other hand, bless you, would be the one who you're very solid, you're extremely loyal, solid foundation that we'd end up coming back and I would have fully broken and you would have done nothing. You'd been fantastic the whole time. And then I would have been like, oh my God, no, please take me back. I didn't want to do this.
That's super sweet. Like that. But you know what? Like, gosh, that's gnarly. I mean, like I think you said, you would have broken out of protection for yourself. Yeah. The thought, I don't want to be standing there embarrassed. Yeah. So if we both mess up, at least there's this kind of.
I feel like I had the upper hand.
Exactly. Like you protected yourself. But then in the same way, like I could totally not break and then like hold it against you. You know what I mean? Because it's like, now it's like you have this like dark cloud and me, I don't know. You kind of go, that show's really wild because, people like don't break and then break for all the wrong reasons. And there's like, you could see the people who like don't break almost hoping the other person does break so that they look as a good person. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
So I think there's a level too of like, I don't think I would break because I also think I would be too like hyper aware of like, I'm going to be the guy that broke. You know what I mean? I'd be just very selfish in my like fear of like how I would look. And, you know, I don't know. That's a very dark question. I'll be honest with you.
I can't even imagine it, to be completely real with you, because I just could never go on that show. Love the show. Couldn't go on it.
Yeah.
Love the show. Couldn't go on it. Next question. The best thing about each other's faces.
Whoa.
The best thing about each other's faces.
Cute.
Very cute.
See, that's hard for me to choose because I have two favorites.
Go on.
Eyes and nose. I love your nose and I love your big eyes, and I find them to be super pretty and super expressive.
Thank you.
You pinch your nose and you smile, and your eyes are really big and cute. And so I would say like those are my two. And that mouth you got.
Okay, that's crazy. That's insane.
Those are my two favorites.
Well, I love your whole face.
Oh, it's sweet.
If I had to pick one.
Bad answer.
If I had to pick one, I would say your nose.
Oh,
you
cute.
know, I love.
We're nose
love,
lovers.
love. We are nose lovers. Is that our
Wow.
fetish? We love a nose.
Send me a pic of that nose, babe, while I'm at work.
Yeah, I love your
Cute.
nose.
That's a good question. That's a very sweet question. And I feel like it's a good little reminder. It's a cute reminder to be like, oh, appreciate each other's
You know
faces.
what? There's a great 7-year itch question. Or when you're having a rough day question.
But, you know, be careful too, because the other person can be like nothing. And then you're like, shit, that
Yikes.
did not work out.
But if you're like to ask, I like a specific question like that. What's your favorite thing about my face?
Yes.
First of all, the other person probably giggle because it's a
Yes.
cute way to say it. What's your favorite thing about my face? But then also you get like a nice specific, because you and I have talked about this before, is when you try to make sure that you're affirming and complimenting the other person, sometimes it can start to feel disingenuous because it's just general compliments, you know? Like,
Yes.
I'm not saying it's not nice to hear. Like,
Yeah,
you
don't
look,
walk up to your partner during the 7-year itch and say, do you even like me anymore? That will not elicit a great vibe.
But like, you know, the general compliments of
Sure.
like, hey, can you affirm me more, babe?
You
It's
look
like,
pretty.
You love to hear you look pretty. It's not that that's not lovely, but I've talked to Evan before about like, it's nice to hear like a specific, like, what do you really like about me? You know, and what do you like about my face? I'll never forget. Sorry, it's about somebody else.
Sick.
But it's a compliment.
Another good
I'll
7-year
always-
itch idea.
It's a compliment I'll always remember is there was this one guy that I was going on some dates with, and he would talk about this one specific, I have this tiny little mole right here on my wrist. And he would hold my wrist and he'd be like, he would talk about it. He was like, it's so pretty. Like, he just thought it was so pretty. And
Where's the vomit button? Where's the fucking beep?
But then I saw a TikTok the other day that said like all millennials have this wrist mole.
Oh.
And so then I didn't feel like it
feel
was
too
quite
good
so
about it.
special anymore
Wow.
or unique.
Well, good for him being
But
a player.
it's nice to have a
specific
compliment goes a long way.
It means you're noticing specifics. You're not giving blanketed responses.
So to ask about the face. Next question, would you where did it go? Would you ever do a vow renewal?
Oh.
We have 100% talked about that.
Yeah,
We
big
talked
time.
about that around our 10-year. And it's something that I would really love to do. I would love to have Ember be a part of it.
Yeah.
And now, like, you know, so many of our friends who are chosen family to
Mm-hmm.
us now that I would love to have there. But I'm a little hesitant because it feels like vow renewal is sometimes the kiss of the end of the relationship.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Every housewife that does a vow renewal
and
is
and
divorced
you guys
within a
always
year.
take your cues from the housewives because they are a litmus test for the world.
It just feels like every time I hear, oh, such and such did a vow renewal, a year later they're broken up. And
I wonder, though, if the vow renewal
yes.
is done, one person wants it and is kind of pushing it because they're trying to reinvigorate the final threads of the relationship.
Yeah, I think it's often in those situations.
Like I would imagine the ladies are trying, like they're distant husbands who are barely there.
The worst.
Who are barely wanting to be in that life at all. The wives are trying to kind of go, we should do this. And the guy's like, whatever, book it. And then they're hanging on to a thread.
So maybe if both people are very excited about the
Yes.
vow renewal and you're like, oh, it's because we've been together for 100
but
years,
if
let's
one
do a vow
person's
renewal.
really pushing it and the other person doesn't care at all, maybe to your point, it's almost like you're pushing someone off the edge because it's like now we're putting a ton of attention on how great our relationship is.
This is my debate. This is my
It's a great
my
debate.
concern.
It's
so I'm like,
it's a fantastic debate.
would like to do a vow renewal.
Yes, it looks and sounds great. We just got to make sure that
But
we both want to do it because I really don't. No, I'm just kidding.
We got to check in to make
Yeah.
sure, right before that we're good, or else it's going to be the kiss of death.
The kiss.
Okay. Couple
continue.
more questions and then let's do some call home.
Yes, of course.
But we got to take another quick pause. Family. So we're talking wedding anniversaries, the romance, but let's be real. When it comes to the bedroom, it's mostly for sleeping. At least that's what we hope for, but sometimes, aka a lot, sleep does not come easy. It didn't for me, at least, for many years. That's why I am so excited to share something that's made a real difference in my life, Beam's Dream Powder. And when I say real difference, I mean a real big difference, okay? Beam is a healthy nighttime blend packed with science-backed ingredients shown to improve sleep so you can wake up refreshed and ready to take on the day. When I tell you, I started drinking Beam's Dream Powder before bed and my sleep life changed. All right, this is not an exaggeration. I started sleeping through the night without tossing and turning, which I never thought possible for me. And I wake up energized, not groggy. I love, love, love Beam's Dream Powder. I am so grateful for it.
Yes, it's so easy to get into a cycle of sleepless nights, exhausted days, and feeling like you're falling behind everywhere else. I was like this in Nashville for a couple days.
Oh, you didn't bring your Beam.
I didn't bring it.
This is what
wrecked
happens.
me. When you're in that cycle, you're not showing up as your best self at work, as a parent, with friends and family. Beam's Dream Powder provides us with the glorious night of sleep to change the game for us and help us wake up feeling refreshed. Dream is made with a powerful blend of all natural ingredients: reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, apigenin, and melatonin, plus Dream tastes incredible.
Yeah, that's a huge, great added bonus. It's delicious. And I love having it before bed. It's cozy, it's delectable. And then the sleep I've been getting from it, it's all a yes, yes, yes for me, okay? And I know it's obvious, but I also didn't really realize how much my bad sleep was affecting my mood and focus every day. So yeah, since taking Beam's Dream Powder, I can confidently say life is better because sleep is the best. And I'm not the only one. Beam has already improved over 17.5 million nights of sleep, helping people across the country wake up and feel their best. Here's the deal. Beam is giving our listeners their best offer yet. Try their best-selling Dream Powder and get up to 40% off for a limited time. Go to shopbeam.com/momdad and use code MOMDAD at checkout. That's shopbeam.com/momdad, shopbeam.com/momdad, and use code MOMDAD for up to 40% off. By supporting Beam, you support this show and all of us fellow parents and sleepers out there. Place your first order of Beam and start getting your best sleep tonight. Okay, let's do a few more questions before some call home. Let's see. Any plans to travel for the rest of this year or next year?
Dreams, ideas.
Yeah.
I want to travel everywhere.
We've been floating around some thoughts.
Yeah.
I
haven't traveled basically on vacation for years and years and years.
Yeah.
So we really would love to do something that'd be cool.
We would love to travel. I'm going out in a couple weeks to be with Katie, which speaking of Katie, a few things. Number one, congratulations to our sweet friends, Katie and Jeff, on getting married.
Amazing.
They are the most wonderful couple. I mean, like you can't think of two people who are more incredible together and love each other so much. Like when you know, and these two, just the love that they have for each other. And also as a dear friend of Katie's, like to see her with a partner as amazing as Jeff, like he's been incredible.
Huge support.
Like sending us updates about like how she's doing when she's not feeling up for it. Also, the other thing is, I'm sure a lot of you have seen online that Katie is at stage 4. And so, I know obviously we encouraged a few weeks ago just to be sending love and support. And I just want to say she's talked about how much the love and support hearing from all the members of the family and other people has meant to her. So thank you so much, family, for just extending yourself. Just encourage as this process continues to like continue to do that, because I know it's meant so much to her. And I know having then a community of people who are like warriors who have gone through it, sending their stories and recommendations just has meant so much.
Yeah.
And she is an incredible human being. Like, I can't express to you through this process, and I know I talked about this a little bit before, but now seeing as this has gone, further, that so much of her energy and her heart is to want to make sure that she's using her platform and her experience right now to help other people. And I'm like just wowed by her every single day. So please continue to send all of that support and love to her. So I'll be going out and being with her for a little bit. And then also too, we had talked about maybe this summer going and staying, maybe doing New York for a little chunk of time. And so we're talking about that. So if we can do that with Ember's schedule, and especially now, we would like to go out and be near her during the summer. So that might be happening. But that's, and then we're throwing around, Ember, we can't share a lot about it now, but Ember has some maybe exciting theater things that are bubbling up, which looks like there might be traveling potentially happening. We shall see.
We don't know.
We will keep you updated.
Yes.
We will keep you
100%.
updated. Next question. What was Evan's dating life during your break? We never hear his dating stories. Evan, tell us about your dating life during our breakup.
Pretty non-existent.
He just couldn't get over me, baby.
Yeah.
He broke up with me and then he couldn't get over me.
Yeah. I didn't have I just had little moments and flings and things like that. And, but I never really had anybody that I was really seeing or spending serious time with. I had little crushes and things like that would happen, but nothing that was, mostly just
Cut it out of here, dude.
you all know where I was going to go with that. No, but it was just crushes, little moments, little things here and there that would last a week or something, but nothing that was substantial like Jess, where she's actually had low-key boyfriends and stuff like that.
Did anyone ever tell you that you have a beautiful mole on your wrist?
No one ever told me nothing about a mole.
Did you ever tell anyone about their beautiful mole on their wrist?
Never told anyone about a mole.
Good.
We never exchanged mole compliments.
Good. Just that's good to know.
Yeah, I think it was there's always one tortured soul in these situations, and I think it was more me than her. No big deal.
The women that you were seeing, were they like me at all, or were they different?
Oh, great question. Nothing like you.
Really?
Nothing like you.
I never knew any of them, so
they were they had bits.
Seen photos, but that's it.
The ones who I kind of liked or had a little more of a crush on definitely had more your personality. So had were the more charming ones, were the whatever. But again, it was always I think there's this level of you're trying to kind of forget and kind of move past. So you're exploring at least for me, it was about exploring very different energies.
Yeah, that's what I did too. I feel like everyone I saw.
I didn't want to be oh, here's Jess 2.0, so I'm reminded of her. It's first of all, impossible to do, right? Impossible, you guys. But it was, it was very different energies. And so it was me just exploring what else is out there in the world, and maybe, should try something different. And unfortunately didn't stick, babe. Didn't stick.
Yeah,
also, I'll be honest with you too. I was a little bit more into getting attention than finding another person to be with. So it was a little bit more
you flirty.
Yeah, it was a little bit more getting a girl to like me so that I felt good.
Oh.
A little bit less or seeing if she whatever. It was a little bit more that than it was pursuing someone for a relationship. It was more I don't know, trying to feel you got it after you're kind of seeing through the grapevine that the person that you love most in this world has 7 boyfriends. So
fuck boy, we read between the lines.
No.
We read between the lines. Okay, one last question here. Let's do, how did you all know you were ready to live together? And how will I know if I'm ready with my 2-year boyfriend? Okay, so here's truth of the matter when it comes to us is, you all know we were raised very, conservative religious.
Yes.
And so due to pressures and expectations of the family, we also got married very young. We were 23, 24. But due to pressures and expectation from the family, we did not live together until we got married.
Yeah.
Which is wild to think about.
It is wild.
Don't
recommend.
I don't recommend. The first 2 years were not easy. And I think a lot of it was because of that, just like jumping in cold turkey, living together, not really knowing the living habits. Because at this point, a lot of people too, are spending time, like spending the night for numerous days over at their partner's house. Sure. Maybe not fully moving in, but like we jumped in and it was, so if I were to tell anybody, or like when I chat with my friends about like, how do I know when it's time to move in with somebody? I genuinely do not think that there is a specific answer for this at all. Like really, I think it's just, what do you want and how does it feel? If there's any sort of pressure that the partner is putting on you, I don't think that's when you should move in with someone. If someone's like, come on, TikTok, I don't think that's the right time to move in. But if there's a mutual like, hey, this feels right. We've been staying over at each other's house a lot back and forth anyway. And yeah,
I think the shock, for me to be more specific in like when I think about it, I think the shock comes from, well, first of all, there is no perfect time, but it's more like thinking about when you're moving in together, like the environment and the whole thing. Like some people can be like, oh yeah, he leaves the seat up, or, she's a messy or whatever. Like that's a thing. I think the thing that's not talked about enough is how you want to spend your time in the house. Mm-hmm. Some people are very mole-esque. I want to do my own thing. Mm-hmm. I want to be able to come home and chill and not talk. Right. And then some people are like, I'm expecting when we move in together, when you get home from work, it's talking during dinner, it's hanging out, it's whatever. It's like we're together all the time at home. And then some people are literally like, no, I get home, I need 2 hours to chill for myself. Then we can talk for an hour. Then I like to play a video game, like whatever it is. So I think really having a convo, like honestly about like what that person needs when they get home from work or when they wake up. That's the stuff that I think makes people go nuts. Yeah. So then when the toothpaste is left out,
yes,
you're like losing your mind.
So those conversations, maybe no right time to move in together whenever you feel like, because some people move in so fast and it works great and some people take forever and that's what works better for them, whatever. But at least whatever you do, maybe having those important conversations before you move in so you're not in a big shock when it happens.
Because I'll be honest with you, there's nothing worse than you needing time and someone's like, knock, knock, knock. How long are you going to be in the bathroom? Because I'd love to talk to you. Or opposite. You're like, why doesn't this person love me? So it's like really kind of catch that energy. So maybe stay at your person's house for like a week and kind of really catch the energy to be like.
I'll tell you, I'll always go back to the Sex and the City episode. It was Carrie and Aiden and they move in together and he is driving her absolutely crazy when he would just every time he walks in, he's like, hey, Sugar Pop, what's going on? What you doing? What's going on? And she wants to have her alone time. And I ended up actually watching that episode like right before Evan and I moved in, so that did actually help me. That we had a conversation before. I took notes from Gary from Sex and the City.
There you go.
Where I beforehand told Evan, I'm like, here's the thing. When I walk into the house, I need to like not talk for an hour.
Yeah.
I need to like be alone. I like to have my little habits. I like to just sit in the bathroom and I, either read or I'm watching something, but I don't like to speak right away. So just as a heads up.
Luckily, we're both very similar in our space.
We are.
So I could see it would be hard if someone was really needy in time and then someone was like really needy for like distance. Mm-hmm. That could cause some issues. So just be aware of those.
Also, side note, you never have to feel pressure to move in just in general. Like you could be with your partner for however long. And we know plenty of extremely healthy partnerships who never move in together.
True.
And they're happy having their own separate places. And that creates a little bit of distance and romance for them. So if that's something that you're interested in, you want, like, don't feel like you ever even have to move in.
And then there's different versions too. Like I hear about people that like sleep in separate beds,
yeah,
obviously.
Some people love that.
There's a lot of like different versions of this thing.
Yeah. Don't ever feel like because we've been raised in this culture where it's like it has to
2
be
years
this way.
Move
this
in,
has to be the
2
way
more
it is.
years, engagement. Yeah.
Nah, screw all of that. Do what feels best for you and your partner.
Agreed.
Always. Okay, let's do some call homes. I want to hear from the family. But before we officially hear from the family, we need to do a little shout out.
Oh.
Because we said, hey, family, please send us call homes. And so that I was going on our call home voicemails, realized we haven't looked at our call home voicemail website
Since the last time we did it.
for like 5 weeks because we've been doing Bachelor and Traders. I see a call home, one of the more recent ones from a month ago that popped up, where an individual who listens to our podcast and their partner listens to our podcast said, hey, I want to propose to my partner and they love your show. And, you know, would you be interested in helping during this proposal?
Right.
Devastated.
Devastating.
Because we didn't hear it until a month later. But I reached out to this person. So I had to give a shout out. Congratulations to our listener, Dax, who recently proposed to their partner, Joe. Joe, Dax wants to give you a shout out. Congratulations. They are happily engaged.
And really just due to our advice and our, you know what I mean? If it wasn't for the things we say on this podcast, your relationship would have never worked. So thank you to us as well. No, you guys, congratulations. It's amazing.
It means so much that we were offered to be a part of a potential proposal and we're so bummed we missed out. So all we can say is, Joe, your partner Dax loves you so much, wanted to make that proposal so special, and I'm sure they absolutely made it fantastic, but we had to give a special shout out and congratulations to the both of you. And thank you for being listeners and for being part of the family and many, many years. 1,900 years of happiness to the both of you.
A million years of being together.
A million years together and happiness to the both of you. But we love you. Mwah. Mwah. I love to hear of the family and love.
Beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
Beautiful.
Okay. Let's do some call homes.
Yes, please.
But before that, we got to take one more quick pause. Family. So obviously we're talking about our wedding anniversary, and wow, I can remember moving in together like it was yesterday. Like we were saying, I can remember it like it was yesterday. Now, something I do regret is that when we were furniture shopping for our first place together, we didn't know about Article. Thank goodness we have gotten older and wiser together and discovered the wonder of article.com, baby. It's the only place we get indoor and outdoor furniture now because every time we do, we are oh so wowed by the style. It's so chic and timeless. The quality, pieces that have weight to them and true craftsmanship, the durability. I'm talking pieces that stand the test of time and maintain through life and dogs and kids. And you can't forget about the amazing prices. We've gotten couches, dining room tables, chairs, side tables, and more. And we couldn't be happier. That's why we are Article customers for life.
I could scroll through Article's website all day because the style of all their pieces just inspire me. Article offers a curated range of mid-century modern, coastal, Scandinavian-inspired pieces, and these pieces not only shine on their own, but they also pair seamlessly with nearly any other Article product. And this thoughtful design approach makes it so easy to mix and match, helping you create a space that feels cohesive and stylish.
That's been so huge for us because, you know, we aren't interior designers.
God, I wish I was.
We wish we were, but we're not. But Article makes it easy to put together a gorgeous interior that looks stunning. And by the way, if you need extra help, Article's customer care team is available 7 days a week, offering knowledgeable support and even free interior design services to help you get your home just right. I mean, absolutely incredible. Also, Article offers fast, affordable shipping across the US and Canada with options for professional assembly if you prefer a hands-off experience. And they have a 30-day satisfaction guarantee, meaning you can shop with confidence, knowing that if you're not completely in love with your new furniture, you can easily return it. This peace of mind ensures you can invest in your home without hesitation. We've been thrilled with everything about Article, the pieces, the delivery, the support team. They're just the best. And Article is offering our listeners $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. To claim, visit article.com/momdad and the discount will automatically be applied at checkout. That's article.com/momdad for $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. Okay, it's that time to hear from the family.
Remember, you can always call home.
Hey, Mom and Dad.
Hi.
This is Reed. I am calling with some serious advice about maybe finding the love of my life at Trader Joe's today. So I went to
Today.
Trader Joe's, and of course, I ended up flirting with an employee, as you always do.
Of course.
But this one was really special because he came up to me to grab my cart while I was checking out with someone else. And I feel like it was because we locked eyes when I walked past his station. And I thought, ooh, he's cute. I wish I had gotten assigned to him to check out. Then 2 minutes later, he's coming to get my cart while I'm being checked out by someone else. And I look at his name tag. Well, first of all, he tells me that he likes my earrings. And I look at his
Intimate.
name tag and I say, oh my God, your name is Reed too. So then we talk about how we're both named Reed.
Two Reeds.
And that's as far as it went. He shook my hand. He was like, well, it's great to meet you, Reed. And I honestly think I'm in love. I bought so many groceries today. I don't need to go back to Trader Joe's anytime soon. But like, I think I have to go back. I just don't know. I don't know what my move should be if I see him again. So I really need your advice because I want to be the new Taylor and Taylor Lautner, but Reed and Reed, whatever his last name is, because he's
Reed
a
squared.
cutie patootie. Also, he might not be into women, but we'll address that
Right.
if that's the case.
Okay, maybe best friends. Okay, this I believe is the beginning of a love story. Okay, this feels Reed came up to you, grabbed the cart, complimented the earrings. That's a little intimate to be like complimenting something, near the face. Like it's a
Sure.
thing. I don't know.
Now, I will say, and I'm not trying to destroy your dreams here, but you got to flesh this out because I will say
There's no fleshing out necessary.
Oh, no, flesh it out as in like go back and we'll talk about this. But I'm
Oh,
just saying,
oh.
like, I will say Trader Joe's employees,
Very friendly.
very friendly, borderline flirty.
Sure.
Like, you know what I mean? I don't care who's in the aisle. I'm getting a like, what are you up to today?
Sure.
Where are you coming from?
But
Ooh, cool
Reed-
shirt. So I'm just saying, be aware that like it might be the way they do it, but it also might be love at first sight.
But
So just
Reed
kind
locked
of.
eyes with Reed and then went out of Reed's aisle to grab Reed's cart and make eye contact and compliment.
I mean, I'm not saying
So-
it's not an option. I'm just saying like
This needs to get fleshed out.
Needs to get fleshed out.
You're having these feelings. Reed might also be having these feelings. How do you do it? Grab a reed, like the plant, and walk in and give it to
Did I ever
Reed.
tell you what I did one time? There's this girl that I thought was really cute at like a checkout.
No.
I don't think I told you this ever. So one time I went shopping at like a surf shop store
Yeah.
for like Christmas gift
Yeah.
and go up to the register and kind of look up and there's this girl and we're definitely vibing.
Yeah.
And I froze and I didn't like do anything about it. I didn't like ask her out. I didn't do anything. And I just kind of checked out and walked out. This is so embarrassing.
What did you do?
I literally go back in the store, grabbed like a belt off the
Just like
thing
another-
that I didn't need during the checkout, then ask her out.
Oh, cute.
But she knew like immediately in the middle
But
of my
listen-
checkout that like I didn't need this belt.
Right. You went back in.
It was very embarrassing because it was just like it was like a size 22 belt. You know what I mean? It just wasn't like it was like
It
a
didn't even fit
random
you.
ass belt.
Did she say yes?
She did. She gave me her number.
And what happened after that?
I don't remember if I called her or not, but that was that.
She gave you your number and you didn't call her?
Well, I'm saying I might have.
Nothing could be more men. See, this is why women have trust issues.
But you gotta
Because
understand, I was
see a
coming
kid,
off of, you
he
know what I
comes
mean?
in and he comes in again and buys something you didn't need, asks you out, you give the number, and then you never hear from him
I'm trying to remember.
again?
There's a good chance I called her and she never called me back.
Okay. I'd take that.
You know
I'd
what I
accept
mean?
that more.
Because, these were dark times. So I don't remember exactly what happened, but there is a total chance that I called her and she never called me back. And I totally understand if she didn't. Like, the way I did it was so not smooth that, like, I
But
get it.
that's charming. Listen, Reed.
So maybe you just go back in and buy one green bean. You know what I
I
mean?
was gonna
You're
say,
like,
bring a reed. Bring the plant a reed and then give it to Reed.
I don't like that at all. I'm so
Just
sorry. I
joking.
hate that.
Okay, but you have to flesh this out. So I know you bought all your groceries.
Mm-hmm.
You must go back in, maybe be like, hey, grab a protein bar or like a kombucha or a salad. Like go in for a singular thing. And by the way, you also don't have to buy anything. Go in, see if Reed's working. And if Reed's not working, then leave. And then go back until he's working. Maybe see him 1 or 2 other times. See how you feel. If like you feel like the vibe is continuing to be flirtsky.
Yeah.
And then ask Reed out.
Yeah.
Be like, Reed, I feel like we need to have a longer conversation about this, maybe over coffee sometime.
Yeah, because it's kind of one of those things that like you're in the store, so the conversation can't last that very long because like he's running around, he's got stuff to do.
Have your number ready. Have like it written down already before you go in so that you can hand it to him easily, like a la business card, you know, just be like, here.
It's all, you know, everyone has their own style, but if I was to get hit on, I think I would prefer like straight up.
Yeah.
I think you're super cute. Here's my number. Please text me. No worries if not. But like, I had to give you my number.
I love that.
There's something about that that's just awesome.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's-
please no pressure. I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable, but like I think you seem amazing. I think you're very attractive, and we're both named Reed.
I love your energy.
Love
your
your
name
energy.
is incredible.
And so
Reed
I just
squared, I see it.
You know, I just had to. I would have been upset with myself if I wouldn't have just taken the opportunity to see if you'd be interested in grabbing a coffee with me.
I love that. I go straight.
Yeah, you got it, but I think you got to flesh it out.
You have to.
Or else
Why not?
it might haunt
There's
you.
other Trader Joe's.
Yeah, you can go to another Trader Joe's if it's awkward after.
Yeah.
It might haunt you forever if you don't.
These are the moments in life you're going to regret.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, not into you. Worst case scenario, not a vibe.
Worst
Okay,
case.
cool, done. Best case scenario, I mean, it's Reed squared forever. You know what I mean? 900 years.
Love at first sight is something I'm very into lately.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it a lot lately. I know
You might be a
everybody's like,
dragon, and that might be your thing. You know what I mean? Like to Jess's books. You know what I mean?
this has nothing to do with
He
my
might be
books.
a dark lord.
This has nothing to
you're,
do
like,
with my books.
super
I'm just
into.
saying I've kind of been into this vibe lately. Like I know attraction isn't everything, but they're energetically, I've been into this idea of like love at first sight.
I
I've
love
been
that
thinking
you
about it
can
a
like
lot.
say too, like, how did you guys meet? I saw them across the room, and I had to.
I love it.
It's a very nice story.
Love this.
Next.
Hi, Mom and Dad.
Hello.
First of all, happy anniversary. Can't
Thank
believe you
you.
guys have been together for 900 years. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I want to send this call in because I really, really need your help for some dating advice. I recently ended something with somebody who was truly probably the best person I've ever dated. He's 18 years older than me. Yep, you heard that right, 18. So I'm 32, he's 50.
Okay.
Now, this is probably one of the most stable, fun, secure, loving, safe relationships I've ever been in.
Okay.
We ended because our values were different in the terms of like what I wanted right now, what he wanted. Like this man is like near retirement, and I'm like, I want more babies. So we were kind of like not vibing in that way. Also, he had a vasectomy like 20 years ago, so I don't even know how that would work. But I don't know if we can ever get back together, or do I have to take the relationship for what it was, as if, now I learned so much from that relationship and like that is now my new standard, or do I try to work things out with him? So please let me know what you think. Um, I mean, it was definitely the best sex I've ever had, so I'm also letting that go too, and I don't know how to move on. So that's my question. Would love your help. Bye.
Well, listen, it's a tough one because, only you can really know what's the most important thing to you, I
Yeah.
suppose. So with this guy, it might be one of those things where you're like, this is the love of my life and I need to be with this person for forever. And I'm willing to forego the idea of wanting to have children and, have this certain lifestyle. But if there is that part of you that wants to, again, have children and have that certain lifestyle, and that is a priority, I'll say this. I mean, 18 years is a big difference with you being 32 and him being 50 right now. What you have to know is it's just going to start feeling more extreme.
For sure.
Like, you're only 32. You're still very young. And he's just going to get older and older. And the idea of wanting to have children and like live a younger lifestyle is going to become less and less. So just know, if you were to get back together with him, it's not going to be something that all of a sudden, I'm sure he's going to wake up one day and
He's
be
not
like,
gonna wake up at 65 and be like, I want kids now.
and you're still going to feel super young. So I can't speak because only you can know, but my initial reaction to this, because of the age discrepancy and what you want in life, and I think you would, if that's something you really want, that you would then regret it. And again, it's going to start feeling more and more extreme. I would say, look at it like how you were saying, as kind of a blueprint now for the type of relationship that you want. You said you've never felt safer. It's never felt better. The sex was amazing. Like, this is now what you're looking for in a relationship, and look at it as like maybe that he was the person who was kind of a reset to you, where you saw what you valued, what you needed. He was amazing in all these ways, but lifestyle wise, you didn't line up in these ways. So now, moving forward, like, okay, these are my certain standards, and he met all these amazing things, and I want someone who's going to look like him in this way, this way, and this way. That would be my suggestion, is to look at it as like a great moment and a safe, wonderful person that you were with. But
yeah.
I
agree with you halfway. Like, I think I agree with you in the fact that like whatever you're feeling now is going to get much worse. So like this feeling of like, I want to have kids, he doesn't.
Yeah.
I want to kind of go out into the world, he doesn't. Energy that I feel like I'm sensing from you is only going to get worse. I agree 100%. What I don't think is a good idea is to use him as a new standard.
Interesting.
I don't think that's a good idea because, first of all, I don't love standards in general because everyone's different and everyone brings something different to the table. And I feel like if you like certain standards, it's kind of like you're not opening yourself up to new people and kind of what they might bring to the table that might kind of swap out, or you might find new things that you were interested in. Like you didn't know you liked the things this guy brought to the table until he did. Right. And so being open, because in my mind, what a 50-year-old man brings to you is stability, maybe even financial stability. You said he's about to retire, financial stability, calmer probably because he's kind of lived his quote fun days, his energy. So he's more solid. These are all things of an older man. Yeah. Right. And if you want someone who's younger and more vibrant and like wants to have kids with you and wants to do all these things, you're going to have it's going to be maybe harder to find a lot of those qualities that a 50-year-old man brings to the table because he already lived through the thing. You know what I mean? He changed into that person over time. So I'd be careful on the looking for the 55-year-old man in a 35-year-old man. Like that's going to be very difficult. Sure. You're going to have to, I would just stay open to be
maybe like a loose blueprint.
Yeah, maybe
like,
take some concepts.
She's never felt safer in a relationship. Sure. So it's like, okay, maybe safety. It's like, let's make that a focus.
But I just don't want you to get caught in finding this like human that doesn't exist, where it's like, he's a retiree mentally, but like he's 35. You know what I mean? Like those are going to be, you might put yourself in a position where you were like, are looking for the impossible scenario here. That being said, I think it's one of those things where it's like, you can tell you need stability, but you also want to like build a life. He's already built his, it sounds like. So he's kind of wanting you to move into his building he already built, and you wanting to build a new building, super different vibes. And the fact that you guys broke up over this shows that it's not just a small thing. I'd say follow your gut, be grateful for what it was, beautiful thing. Yeah. But you wanting to have babies and have that be a thing enough to where you guys are now broken up over it. I don't think that's something that's something that's just going to go away and that you should just bury. I think you got to like trust your gut on this and like,
it's important to you.
You're probably lonely right now. You're probably feeling
I mean the heartbreak because you said it was the best relationship.
The
and
sex was great. Everything was amazing. So you're feeling lonely and sad right now, but just know it's just a feeling and it's not forever.
Yeah, agreed. And maybe you know what? Maybe we split the difference. Maybe we go 10 years older instead of 18.
Exactly.
Because someone who's maybe like 43, who's a little more stability there, but still down to father.
Exactly. I think that's a good move.
But sending you so much love. Yes.
Hi, Mom and Dad. Long time listener here. Day one, chatty broads. I'd like to ask you an anonymous question. Okay. My husband and I have a very similar origin story to you guys, and we've kind of hit a bit of a rough patch the last 6 months, and I've just never been more confused about what I should do. We grew up in the church. We got married when we were 18 years old.
Oh, wow.
We went to college. We got our first jobs, established our careers, bought a house together. Now we have 2 kids. We have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. And everything was just all good in the hood, you know? We were best friends. I thought marriage was easy, no big deal. Last November, I got home from a night shift. I'm a nurse, and my husband's a police officer. He had also worked a night, so he was sleeping. And I looked at his phone to make sure he had an alarm to wake up to relieve my mom. And I found 2 DMs on Instagram that told me everything I needed to know. I mean, everything else was deleted, but told me that he was having an affair with this girl. And she's a dispatcher at his job. They've known each other for, I don't know, 3-4 years. Yeah, so full-blown emotional affair. Long story short, I mean, he's in therapy, I'm in therapy, we went to couples therapy, I thought we were really working on it. I felt a lot of guilt, I felt grief, I just really gave it my all, wanted to make it work. And come to find out in January, he had rekindled the affair in like mid-December. So he had blocked her for like a month and a half and then had resumed. And basically all emotional affair. When I found out the second time, I went into a secure folder on his phone and I found nudes, and he had lied to me about just so many things in that interim. So yeah, I find myself in this place of like, we have 2 young kids together. He's an amazing dad. He's an incredible dad. You know, I think he's a great man, although I don't even think I really know who he is anymore. But he's, you know, we're doing a lot of therapy. He has a lot of childhood stuff that's unresolved. He doesn't like feel or accept love like a normal person because of some abuse in his past. So he felt like I was not loving him the last, 5-10 years, which was also shocking to me and obviously upsetting. Like I thought we were doing really well. So we've been working on it, but he's still like, when I've asked him, he's very honest and he says he still has feelings for this other girl. And I've asked, I don't know, 20 times for just reassurance. That's all I need. I need reassurance from him that he wants to make this work and that he chooses me, because obviously haven't felt very chosen recently. Like, I want this to work for our family. I still love him. You know, he's done some shit things. I think he feels really bad about it. He feels a lot of guilt. So he's kind of struggling with the guilt too. And I don't know. I guess I just initiated a separation a couple weeks ago because my anxiety and like panic was so bad when he was around, because since he kind of refuses to like reassure me that we're going to make this work, my mind is constantly thinking like what he's doing on his phone and what's in his head, whatever. So yeah, I just don't know. Like, how long do I do this? How long do I give him? He says he's trying. He wants to make it work, but he can't like change his feelings. He can't just get rid of them. And, I agree. I'm glad he's working through his feelings and finally feeling feelings and talking about them. But like, at what point do we call it? Oh, I forgot to mention, we've been married almost 10 years. July will be our 10-year anniversary. So anyway, I would love to hear your opinions. Thank you guys so much.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
First of all,
I was not expecting this.
No, me neither. First of all, I'm just so incredibly sorry that this is something that you're having to walk through. And like you said too, you have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, and you also work as a nurse night shift. So like pure exhaustion already, and then this emotionally on top of it. Okay. So I'm not going to pretend to be a therapist or a
No.
doctor here. So please take what I say with a grain of salt and just know that it's just I'm kind of
A friend just chat.
a friend chatting with you. I think the biggest thing that I want to hit immediately is that you made a comment that you've been struggling with feeling guilt. And I feel like that is the number one thing maybe in this moment that you should focus on, because that is not something that you should be feeling right now. I know that you mentioned that he had struggles in the past with then why he now can't communicate and feel love certain ways because of abuse in the past, which is terrible. But when he's saying to you that you didn't make me feel loved, sure, maybe his feelings are valid that he might have felt that way, but that does not make an excuse for having an affair. Those are two very different things, right? When you don't feel love in a relationship, it doesn't mean that that's, it's a struggle, but that's when you communicate with your partner. And yes, maybe he has a struggle communicating. That doesn't mean he can go off and have an affair. This affair is not your fault. And I just want to make that extremely clear that whenever you both are talking, if then he might be making you feel that way, that's not okay, because it's not your fault. Also, 2 children, 2 and 4, if you were pregnant with these children, we'll bring into that then pregnancies as well, and a night nurse. As a mother, you are for the past, what he said he hasn't been feeling love for the past 5 years. You for the past 5 years have been pouring into your kids and being a mother and also working as well. So it's during those times where you are spread so thin, and you could be giving all you have left or what you have to a partner to love them, but it's going to be more spread thin because of life and children, whatever. And a partner needs to be able to understand that even if they aren't feeling a certain way, it's not okay to then go try to get that from someone else because you all made a commitment to each other. So I don't want you to be feeling guilt at all right now. You sound like the most open,
God, I know.
loving
So
person.
just like,
You are literally saying he's an amazing dad, and I'm sure he is, but the fact that you have the strength of mind right now to be looking at him and being like, I think he's a good man, I think he's a great husband, or a great father, I can almost guarantee you that you are showing this man love a lot.
yeah.
And so I just want you to feel confident in that right now. That's my big thing walking away from this. So regardless of what choices you make to do, because obviously, again, like you're saying, you love him, you have a family. I can't pretend to know all the details and ins and outs of this. And this is what you want. But just think about, is this what you want? Or are you feeling like you need to do this for the kids or feel like pressure from whatever it is? I want you to really take care of yourself right now and know you have been a good wife. Mm-hmm. You've been a good mom. This isn't your fault at all. And right now it's about him realizing that you have given opportunity after opportunity, and he still is in a space where he's like, well, I don't know if I can say all these things and fully commit. I think it's very, very good that you right now are separated at the moment for your peace of mind, for your anxiety, for all these things like you're saying. I think it sounds like a good idea to step away for your sake of mind and maybe observe him for a while.
Yeah.
And see kind of how he responds in a separation. Like, is he going to get himself involved with this person again? Is he going to have a kind of like, a quote unquote come to Jesus moment where he's like, okay, I've made these mistakes. And then are you actively working to change this?
Or is the separation just going to give him more space to do what he's doing?
Yes. So I think an observation time right now is really, I think that's a great idea. That's a great call on your part. I can't imagine how painful it feels right now, but I think it's a good thing for you mentally, emotionally, for your children to not that for you then to not feel like, oh gosh, this pressure of like, are they feeling in the middle? You are an amazing mom and have been an amazing wife. And now's the time where you can need to step back and take care of yourself, and you can maybe watch him and observe how he is moving through this.
Yeah. I mean, I think what's the most concerning is him being like, yeah, I still have feelings for this person. Not that you can't get rid of feelings, like to what you said, but the fact that that's kind of like the struggle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the fact that it's not, how do I mend us, but that I'm warring with my feelings for this other woman.
Yeah.
Like that's a given. You're not just gonna delete the feelings, but I think the fact that that's not that in the fact that you're getting separated, and I would love to know his reaction to that. But to me, and this is just from what you presented. I'm not in your life. I don't know what's going on. We're not therapists. It's just like from the limited information we got here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not getting a lot of fight from him. I'm not getting, he fought hard, but he fell into the temptation again. I'm getting, he got away with it the first time until he didn't. He's got the guts to just rip right into it again. You're still there. You know, you're being this awesome, understanding, chill, wide open book for him. Understanding the trauma, all that stuff, he's whatever. But it's like at some point you gotta look out for number one a little bit. And it sounds like you've been really not, to the point where it's like you initiating a separation is a good first step into looking out for yourself. But like, I think it's time to start protecting yourself.
Yeah,
because I'm not getting a big fight from him. I'm not sensing him being like, I'm going to transfer to where I'm working at a new station now, and
I'm not even around anymore. Yep.
It doesn't sound like when your marriage is on the line, your life's on the line. It's like you kind of got to do major moves. You know what I mean, to save yourself. And if none of those are being done, and it's just like, yeah, I'll stop. It's almost just like saying I want to stop eating candy all day, but I'm still just stuffing my bag with candy, and it's like at some point you got to cut it off, and you got to change your life. And if he's just kind of thinking that like, I'll just go into work and ignore her, it's like, that's not going to work. So I don't know. I'm just not getting a lot of fight from him. I'm getting you kind of taking the brunt of all this. And he's just kind of there. I don't know. I think it's time to start looking out for yourself in more ways than one. I think you got to start asking yourself, what do I want? If he's not going to fight for this, like I got to start looking out for me. Because you don't want to just get caught in this loop where it's 5 years of this and then you've wasted 5 years. So I would just really start looking out for yourself, because he's not.
Yep. I completely agree. And, again, we're not in your position, so I really can't imagine. But if you make the decision that this is not how you want to live anymore, and then you need to walk away, I can't imagine how scary it is, but just know you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to be okay. I have actually numerous friends who in the past couple years have, with their children, with young children, have gotten divorced, and all of them have said very similar things to me, where it's like, it's scary and you're like, how is this going to work? And, a year, 2 years later, all of them are like, this was the best call I could make. And I'm not saying that this is it for you, but I'm just more saying to try to maybe help alleviate some of that fear that's there of like the unknown. Just know that there are a lot of people out there who then have made that decision, and they're okay and happier,
That's a lot.
So
I'm sorry you've been carrying that.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Heavy, heavy, heavy.
Yeah. We're going to be thinking about you.
Yeah, big time.
But you got this, and like Evan said, look out for yourself.
Look out for yourself. It's time. Mm-hmm. It's time to start being selfish.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Time to start looking out, because you're already kind of not being looked after in that way. So just know that unless there's a radical transformation, I'm not smelling big changes here.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Should we do one more?
Yes, let's do
one more. And also, family, we've got a bunch.
Yeah.
So
we'll save
we've got like a couple reality things, but then I think we're gonna do another call home in a couple weeks. So we're gonna get to some of these that we didn't get to.
Hello. I hope this is working. Hello. Okay.
Hello.
First time caller, long time fan. Love you so much. I have a quick question. I just need a little help navigating this situation. So, I'm in mid-20s, moved to a new city a year and a half, 2 years ago. I've been getting in with this group of friends, having a really good time. We'll call one of these friends Babe. Babe and I get along great. We're definitely very close. I consider her one of my best friends now, even though she's a newer friend. Babe has an old college friend. We'll call her Boo.
Babe
'Cause
and
she
Boo.
sucks.
She
I thought this
sucks.
woman was a Republican. Apparently, she's a Democrat, but barely. She's not someone I particularly enjoy. I don't like talking to her. I don't like when she's there. But Babe is really good friends with Boo. Babe and Boo were roommates in college. They both moved to the city together. They've definitely had some ups and downs in their friendship. Babe has told me about how Boo isn't always a great friend to her. But they've known each other a long time, college friends. Now we're in our young adulthood. I'm getting closer with Babe. I don't get along with Boo. Boo told Babe, I think that I don't like her, me, the caller. And Babe was like, what? And I was like, what? What do you mean? So basically, I just need a little help navigating this situation. I love Babe. I don't care for Boo, but I don't want to put Babe in the middle. I don't want things to be weird. And you know what? There are definitely going to be instances where we're all invited somewhere and we'll be around each other. And I want to remain polite and respectful. So any advice on how you would handle this, I greatly appreciate. Love you guys so much.
Love you. Okay, I just have to make a note
Me
quickly.
too.
When I was downloading these call homes, the title for one of the ones that I put in was "Don't mind the splashing, I'm in the bath."
I was about to say, I was
Our
dang it,
caller.
I'm glad, I'm bummed you said that, because I was about to say, I hope your bath was good. Because I could hear the bloop, beep, bloop, beep. At first I thought you were pouring a drink.
Our caller is in the bath, which obviously you know how I feel about you and I are immediately connected.
Yes.
You and I are screw Boo. You and I are immediately
Screw Boo.
connected. Okay, like I love that you're sending us the call home in a bath.
Yeah. Okay, can I just
Please,
quick advice?
Please.
You know, 1 minute. I look at this a little bit like my relationship context, where when you have a friend that has a significant other that, you know, is not a vibe and it's not a cool thing, don't mess with it. I'm a little bit in this zone. Don't be the one to blow this up. Get along with everybody. Do your best just to swallow it. Like, don't talk shit on Boo to Babe. Let Babe do all that. Like, because what you want is Babe to come to the realizations on their own.
That Boo sucks.
That Boo sucks. You want you to be like, oh, I'm sure it's okay. I'm sure it's okay. And then being like, no, it's not okay. Because what will happen is if you start talking shit on Boo, Babe will then feel a need to defend her,
Defend Boo, yeah.
And then it's like this thing. And then at one point, someone will have too much to drink. And then, Babe will tell Boo you don't like him. And it's a whole thing. And now there's thing. And then Boo's going to try to launch a campaign against you. You don't want any of that. Be Switzerland. Be cool as a cucumber. Play it off. If anything, I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure, I know Boo did that thing, but we all
But
have
they don't
our
want to have
days.
to deal with hanging out with Boo.
But that's the thing. The more you're Switzerland in this, the more everyone will chill out and the more things will rise on their own. The more that you inject your personality into this, the more that people will feel like maybe next time now Babe isn't disclosing things to you because it feels like you don't like Boo. And I'm telling you right now, be Switzerland, be cool. You're the cucumber. Your new name. There's Boo, Babe, and the cucumber. You're the cucumber.
Cool as a cucumber.
You are the
Hey, by the way,
cucumber.
cool as a cucumber is so 80s.
It's
That's
so
crazy.
80s, baby, but that's where we're born.
Cool as a
So
cucumber.
you are the cucumber. You are chill. And I think Babe over time will be by being friends with you, who's so cool, so chill, such a good friend, they'll start to go, wait a second.
Well,
I got this friend that's not that great.
I'll tell you what, Boo is threatened by you because the
course.
fact that Boo is going to Babe and being like, I don't like you. And let me say something, our dear cool as a cucumber family member, you sound cool as shit. So you sound funny and cool. And the fact that Boo's like, I don't like this person, Boo is threatened.
Yes.
Boo is threatened by your relationship with Babe. Boo knows that they suck and is threatened by your relationship because Babe clearly is vibing on you harder. So I do hear what you're saying because of that, because Boo is threatened right now by the relationship, that they could try to sabotage. Now,
If not already.
I hear what you're saying. The only thing that I then would think to maybe add to this is the fact that Babe told our listener that Babe told the cucumber. It sounds so crazy to call someone the cucumber. Babe told the cucumber that Boo doesn't like them. Which
was it that, or was it that Boo doesn't think the cucumber likes them?
No. Boo told Babe that Boo doesn't like the cucumber.
Oh, are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I could be wrong.
I'm almost certain
that
okay, that's what I thought. Okay, got
What
it.
I'm saying is if Boo's telling Babe that and then Babe is telling the cucumber, I feel like that's an opportune window to then that our listener can give their thoughts on Boo.
No, you go, are you serious? They don't like me? I wonder why. They're so nice.
What? You fully lie?
Yes,
no.
you lie. Because then that person looks even more like an asshole.
Well, yeah.
Boo looks even more like an asshole when you're going, oh, really? They don't like me? Oh, what a bummer.
What about this?
But if you go, oh yeah, Boo's an asshole, now it's, I don't know who to believe.
What about this? What about this? Oh, really? Man, I thought that Boo was cool with me. I'm cool with Boo. Only thing is I don't like how Boo has treated you in the past.
No.
Come on.
Don't do it. I know
Plant
you want to
the
do that.
seed.
Don't do it. You're so chill and you're hurt by the fact that they don't like you. And I don't know why they wouldn't like me. They're great. Some version of that. Now Boo's on an island.
Yeah.
Now Boo's on an island, just a haterade. Drinking haterade.
Boo
and then Babe is just going, you know what? This person sucks. Being mean to me, hates my friend. They're the sourpuss.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. I want my initial.
It's like the old gangster movies. You know what I mean? It's the one who's always talking, going, yeah, he's an idiot. Then he ends up at the bottom of the ocean. You know what I mean?
God, this is extreme.
Versus that's the guy that's always like, great guy, fantastic guy. He stays alive. You know what I mean? So you don't want to voice all your opinions when someone's in a fragile state, because then you can get painted wrong.
My initial reaction was communicating that hey, I love you. Boo doesn't seem to like me, and it is what it is. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan. But when you were saying, dear listener, which was so kindly thoughtful of you to be I don't want to put Babe in a situation where then they feel like they're in the middle.
Correct. Your instincts are correct.
Yeah,
your body's
probably.
The only reason why you're calling is
because Boo sucks.
No, it's because your mind wants you to go after Boo.
But you're calling
your body.
You're calling because Boo sucks, and also not only Boo
sucks. Obviously,
can we talk about the worst thing ever? When someone sucks and then they are talking shit on you too. So you're you already suck, and I can tell you're not a good person, and then you find out that they're also talking shit on you. Ooh, I'd be steaming. Yeah. That bathtub would be hot right now. But I hear what you're saying.
And I'm a little bit too be wary of Boo or Babe. Because if Babe can be friends with someone who sucks this bad, just know that just be aware. I'm just saying be heightened. Don't be fully trustworthy of Babe, because Babe, could relay information to Boo. You have a moment of honesty where you're honestly, I just just know that information could always somehow get back to Boo. Be careful.
Yes, something to think about is the fact that Babe told you that their friend Boo doesn't like you.
That could go the other way.
Means that Babe is probably talking about what you say to Boo.
So careful with what you tell Babe. You could tell something super, embarrassing or honest about yourself. It could get back to. I'm just saying.
Yeah, true.
If Babe's already kind of low key talking about the intricacies of their relationship to you, it could go the other way. Beware.
I really like these nicknames. Babe,
so
Boo,
you get out there, cucumber, and you stay chill. That's a good way to end it. All right, guys. Thank you so much. That was a good way.
Well, family, thank you so much for sending in all of these questions and these call homes. Like I said, we got a bunch. We're going to need to do another call home episode in a couple weeks here for sure. And we'll answer more of these call homes. But we love you all. We will see you on Friday to give you all of our thoughts on the first 6 episodes of Love is Blind. And those are going to be heated because we always get a little feisty during Love is Blind. Yeah. A little feisty.
Not huge fans of most of them sometimes.
Most of the people we don't love.
Just attack them. Love you.
Love you all, family. We'll see you on Friday.
Bye.
Bye.